guys, welcome back to another episode of I Am I. My name is Joshua Ansley, or so it says on that little piece of paper when I was born 38 years ago. So, today is a very special and exciting day for me. This is episode 45. You're 45, Anthony, 45.
Awesome.
So this is going to be my first guest episode. I've been thinking about this for a while. I guess actually number 4, I think. I had myself as a guest, so technically Anthony's my second guest. But this is a very new thing for me, and I think it's very important to see that, like, as this is growing, number 45 now, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, which most of you know if you know me or know the vlog at all, and I'm just jumping in, right? So there's really no set path, and when I talk about like getting back to that space of nothingness, and then we're able to create anything from that space, it's finding whatever I'm exploring. That's where failure and success becomes not an issue, and we step out of that and be willing to fail, because those failures and those successes do not define me. So hopefully this is not a total failure today, but if it is, that's going to be totally fine. So this is Anthony Yanotta. I met him about, I don't know, maybe five months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
I was teaching at Onyx Yoga in Warren, and I just heard him talking outside of the class, and I was just stopped in my tracks by the stuff that he was saying. I was like, this guy is fucking weird, and I love it. Obviously, as you know, weird in a good way, right? The things that he was speaking of, he was speaking with strength and confidence. There was no shame in his spirituality, and I find that tremendously inspiring, because I've dealt with that in my life. I was a Baptist a church that I went to recently, and the guy said, if you're gonna talk about God, you've gotta talk with authority and audacity. And I was like, fuck yeah. And that's what I felt that Anthony was doing. So when I started talking to him, I decided that, I just had the impulse to be like, I would love to have you as a guest on the vlog at some point. And I was nervous, and it took a while to get around to it and figure it out and jump in, but here we are about 5 months later. So this is Anthony Yanotta, and he has a business called Synchronicity. Yep. And let me just ask you, Anthony, what is your business? What is it that you do?
Well, Josh, thanks for having me on the show. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. What I do is essentially help people to learn how to make their way through this process of ascension. From the day you kind of wake up and start questioning things in life, all the way to that place where you find yourself being one with God, and literally living from that heart space within yourself in each and every moment. All this really came about and transpired in my life when I had been ill for many years and had a near-death experience. And I had a vision of Jesus actually right here in my home, and was able to experience heaven on earth here. I didn't actually have to be anywhere else. So there's good news. It's not that far away. And what I realized in that moment is a lot of the choices that I had made in life, I didn't realize I wasn't choosing love. I didn't realize that it was really a matter of life or death in every choice. It was a matter of heaven or hell. And in some way, we numb ourselves out to the reality of the choices that we make at times, and never truly understand that when it's not in alignment with God or in alignment with love, with our hearts, it's a choice of death. It happens so slow, we don't get to see it. I truly believe it causes aging, it causes disease and illness. And what I realized from that point on, having that experience, and what I was shown, is Christ talked to me through his heart. Everything was through the heart. There were words I was hearing, there was sounds and taste and touch and smell, but it was all through the heart. And that's when I realized that I needed to really center myself and live centered from my heart. Almost as if I ever had a question in life, what would my heart think about it? How would my heart address that issue and move forward from there?
Can I jump in?
Sure.
Because there's so many. This is so exciting because I love this shit. Some little things I would like to try and just like clarify a little bit. So when you say that this word ascension, you work with ascension.
Sure.
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, actually, what I learned in that moment was, after death, we're not ascending after death. We're ascending now in the flesh. The choices that we make raise essentially our vibrational frequency and bring that state of existence of heaven on earth here to us, into our reality.
So this is the kingdom of heaven. That it is here and now. We have been given the keys.
Yeah, all things are here and now. You get to experience whatever you want. It's just that nobody really ever told you that was an option. Everyone always thought, oh, you go to work, you come home, you maybe hang out with the kids for a little bit, and you go to bed, and you get up the next day and do the same thing all over again. All that's great, but there's so much more to life. There's so much more to whom we are. There's so much more to what we can experience. And I found that as we cleanse our thoughts, as we move into these higher vibrations, you can't help but be surrounded with people who are exactly what
because
you're
we draw it in, the law
exactly.
of attraction kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like love pours out and is reflected back to you. And it's a process. It's a process. It was scary to come out and start talking about this stuff. It took me a year and a half just to tell my wife at the time what I had experienced.
Let me ask you, when you speak of Christ, how do you associate with Jesus and Christ, or what is your relation to that?
My relationship to Jesus is really living every moment as best as I can, as Christ would have, but more so doing it from a place of where I bring myself to God for all things. In other words, there isn't anything I do in any moment that I don't speak to God about. When you move deep enough into your heart, what you'll realize is that regardless of all the modalities and programs that are out there, I believe they all lead us to finding this place within our heart, but then we have to stay centered within that place in every moment, and then trust our own one true teacher to lead us through and to the next step. So for me, I'll get up in the morning and just ask God, what do I need to know for today? And just go from that place. There's no really a sense of worry or of the past or what's going to happen in the future, because when you're one with God and you're living in that oneness state, knowing that you're one with God, what's to worry about? It's like God is walking with you and all around you. What could possibly go wrong? Could you ever imagine that he would take you to a place that would be wrong in any sense or be harmful? I mean, it's just, no.
That is one of my favorite Bible verses that I'm getting tattooed over here, Joshua 1:9. It's also my birthday.
Nice.
So, but it's, have I not commanded you, do not be discouraged, do not be afraid, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you will go.
That's true.
And I feel that is like, my understanding of this whole God thing, I strayed away from using the word God for a long time because even my weirdness with it. But now my understanding of it is like, it's this, whatever you want to call it, God, or in the Eastern philosophy of the Vedantic, it's self, right? So it is oneness with that thing, where it's not some, dude with a beard, We are made in the image and likeness of God, but we wind up making God in the image and likeness of us by personifying God. But it's it's not that. It's that we are not. This is all. I've been going to Christian Science this week. I think I mentioned it to you, and because I just love exploring all different modalities. Yeah. And Mary Eddy Baker, she speaks about the stuff that she talks about, and as a healer, it's pretty profound. She had a crazy healing, spontaneous healing, and that's what brought her to spirituality and then studying and stuff like that. And it is nothing but that spirit is first. Spirit is the only thing that is real. This is all the tangible things. Physical reality is not real. It's all unreal, which is very Vedantic philosophy as well, that anything that changes and is physical is not real. And that the only thing that is true is spirit first. And like you're saying, when you bring that into every single moment of your life and check in from that space first, it's almost, like you said, it's not easy. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, I feel. Sure. But something that you said interestingly before we started doing the interview too was that you had said something about something not being easy. And then you said you don't even want to say that because we don't want to...
Well, we don't want to move into that. We don't want to create it for
create
ourselves.
that it's not something that, because this is something that I'm working with in my life now, is like realizing how powerful my I say it in my vlogs. I just didn't even realize some of the shit. I need to go back and watch my vlogs and listen to what I'm saying. But the language, but also then the thought pattern behind it, where it's like, okay, this is not going to be easy. It's like, well, how much do I need to accept this reality of this world here, and how much am I creating that actual reality by being like, well, can't just pretend. It's not pretending that everything's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like,
well, I mean, things are the way they are, but the reality is when you're doing it with God, it is easy. It becomes very easy. We make things hard by trying to be in control of, okay, we need to go here, we need to do this. This is how it has to be, and God will just show you, well, maybe not. Do you really trust me? Part of the ascension process and the journey for all of us is learning to accept this on many different levels as we go deeper and deeper into our hearts, and ultimately trusting God from every, the state of every moment in which we live. So refining and tuning ourselves to that, to the word, to the truth, and to really understand that when we move into that creator space, saying what we're saying is extraordinarily powerful. Not only for the fact that maybe at one point we didn't understand, but from that creator space, that oneness space, you're almost instantly manifesting it before you. And so it's something that, just like going to the gym and working out, it's a muscle. It's something that you need to work with. It's something that you need to practice with, to fine tune, to exercise and grow with and move into.
But there is a science, like I'm assuming, like from my understanding of it, it's like you're teaching basically a science of ascension.
Yeah, and there is a science to it. I saw a glimpse of it when I was really ill, and after having my near-death experience, I was shown visions of how planets are formed, and I was shown that by applying those modalities to my mitochondrial DNA, I would actually be able to turn them back on. So I took a concept of how planets are formed in the universe, applied it to my cells, and literally, brought myself back to life by following that guidance. What I find is science and spirituality, it's all the same thing. Maybe they'll appear to be at opposite ends of the spectrum, but at the end of the day, they're both mirroring the same thing. They both meet in the center, at that God particle, or with God, whatever you want to call it at that point. But essentially, speaking with God once, God said, Anthony, if there's something you need, all I need to do is let them or tell someone to call you. It's like, it's not that hard. Like, we don't have to make this hard. Like, all I have to do is put an idea into somebody's mind to call you and buy that from you, or speak to you about something. And so where do miracles come from? I mean, I think there's miracles everywhere, but I believe that's essentially how they unfold to be what they are.
Well, I think, again, for me, it's like perception too. It's like every breath, every moment is a miracle.
Absolutely.
Like the fact of you existing right here, the probability that you would be existing right now, and that any one of us would is
Sure.
absolutely a miracle,
Oh,
So I think when we start shifting our perception, as opposed to when we are open to the awe and have awe for what God or this higher self and these higher levels of living are, then we see the miracles in everything that we look at. Everything becomes beautiful, and this grandeur is there, as opposed to somebody, myself included at times, being closed off, needs some sort of grandiose thing to have us, open up. Even like a near-death experience. Like sometimes we get so far away from it, right, that something happens and snaps us into it.
That's a great point, because that's where I was. I was far from the truth at that point in my life. And that's the only way I was going to learn to wake up. That's what I needed to experience to wake up in my life. And if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But I don't believe it needs to be that hard for others. So sharing my story is to do so, to bring belief, like true belief, back into people's hearts. We have these big miracles, yes, but I believe it's all the little ones that make all the difference. And I believe, like you were saying, living from a place of appreciation and where we are now allows that to grow and expand infinitely. At that time, I was not living from that place. I had a lot in my life, but I was not appreciative as much as I should have been for it. And so working myself literally to death, not smelling the roses in a sense.
Pay no attention to this. This is nothing. So this is because you can't not talk about the
Sure.
Ganesh in the room. So this is a stone from the planet Qatar in the 9th galaxy of Xenon. I have no idea, but it's from, would you say Uruguay? Or?
Yeah, came from Uruguay. I bought it from a wholesaler in New York.
It's absolutely stunning, as you guys can see this. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that that he does. So, and on that note too, Anthony is working with people personally. So that's really what I want this vlog aspect to be, is reaching out to people and connecting healers with people that need to be healed in whatever modality, right? Whether it be life coaching or, Ascension or Reiki or, getting people connected, because we have to find what works for us, and there'll be different things at different times. And there's different healers in different times that it will speak to us. Somebody might be like, I really, it appeals to me what Josh is saying. I like his attitude. I like his mentality. Or other people might be like, no, I'm really drawn to Anthony. So I want to be able to have a space where we can grow and help people build their business of helping people and helping people find themselves. So there will be a link down below for Anthony's website, and you have a website and everything, and so that'll be all down below. He's also going to be offering a 10% discount for the first session with him if you mention IMI. So just give a little, horns. And is there anything else that you want to share with my viewers today?
Yeah, I just want to say that thank you for having me here today, and this process of waking up to what's real in our lives is so much easier when we all get to share our stories together. And like Josh was saying, really working together and promoting one another. We're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to find our own personal heaven on earth. And so just reaching out and sharing your own story is giving yourself life. It's bringing yourself life. It's honoring your heart, and it's choosing love. And so if there's ever any fear you may have, just move right through it. You'll notice, just like once we get done with this video, anything that we thought might have not have been perfect was exactly the way it should have been. And everything always works out awesome. So,
and I just love seeing people living their purpose, and if you are struggling in any way, shape, or form, or just feeling stuck and wanting to find your purpose, reach out to me. You can work with me, you can work with Anthony, but reach out to somebody and find it happen, because there's there is life waiting to be lived, and it's terrifying and it's scary maybe at first, but it gets more and more beautiful as we just step into that discomfort and open it up. So reach out to Anthony and make something happen. So in Lakesh Lakin, I am you, you are me. Namaste. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
What? Too much?